Finally tonight, delays at the polls proved to be problematic during Tuesday's election. Votes still being counted as of this morning in Florida, where some voters had to wait in lines of up to 6 hours. Multi-page ballots were a problem there and in several states. And in a small New England town, it wasn't long lines or ballots, but a spider that caused a major backup. A spider web shut down an aging machine in Rehoboth, Mass., pushing back a final vote count there until yesterday afternoon. So what's the solution to these long lines and malfunctioning machines? Wonkblogger Brad Plumer joins us. He's been reporting on this today. Good to see you, Brad.
Thanks for having me on.
In the last American Idol finale, they counted 132 million ballots. That's 12 million more than were cast Tuesday. If they can do it, why can't we?
Yeah, no, a lot of people have been asking why a country that's as wealthy and advanced as the United States can't seem to hold a half-decent election. And there are a couple of things that people have suggested for trying to make the whole process more efficient. The biggest one by far is registration. People would be waiting in line for hours, get to the front of the line, and their name wouldn't be on the list for whatever reason. So the first proposal that a lot of people point to is just making the registration process more efficient, more complete, having a modern database that can track you when you move. Just making that all easier could cut back on a lot of delays. So that's the first one.
And easier said than done so far.
Yes.
Next one, machines, how we vote.
Yeah, so a lot of polling stations were just underprepared for the election. Either machines broke down or they didn't have enough poll workers, they ran out of ballots.
How do you not have enough ballots?
Or even, there are reports of people running out of pencils. Ultimately, a lot of this does come down to money, and back in 2002, Congress provided a lot of money to the states with the Help America Votes Act, but most of that money has now been used to help disabled voters, which is good, but there are still problems that come up that do come down to money.
And Congress also created a commission that so far they haven't staffed.
That's right. The Senate has not yet confirmed any of the commissioners on the Election Assistance Commission, which helps out local jurisdictions if there's a problem, if there's a hurricane and they need to develop a contingency plan. Right now, there's no one on that commission.
Already a third or more than a third of voters are voting early, but maybe expanding that could be another answer?
Right. So not all states do have early voting, and lots of states have variations on that. Some people have suggested that there should just be national standards for early voting. The idea is that this would alleviate the pressure on Election Day.
And then the last thing you mentioned in your story, you could just call a state of emergency?
Well, so that was one suggestion by a voting expert who looked at Florida, which once again, they're still not even finished counting their ballots. We saw this in 2000. They had all sorts of problems. This expert just suggested that Congress declare Florida election disaster area and take over, start setting standards, which Congress can do under the Constitution. The problem is it could be a little politically dicey, and Congress is always wary of meddling in states.
It is like amazing that we can't get this right still.
No, it really is. And there are some states that do better than others. California seems to do pretty well despite having lots of ballot initiatives on the ballot, lots of voters, but there are other states, and Florida is the big one, that have trouble figuring this out.
Okay, Brad, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are going to wrap things up for today, but we'll be back with you tomorrow, where we're going to take a look at kind of the foreign impact of the election and reaction from spots overseas, including China. We'll see you then.